Well, we love featuring artists you should know about. Today, we're heading to Arkansas to chat with dynamic married duo Cliff and Susan. Cliff and Susan are based out of Little Rock. Their debut album, Fiddle Keys, charted in the top 40 on the iTunes Country Albums chart. Their high-energy performances are getting them noticed in the country scene, and their latest single, Into the Mystic, is a rendition of the Van Morrison classic. We're stoked to have Cliff and Susan back on the show. First, thanks so much for coming on, guys.
Hey, thank you so much for having us back.
We're excited to be here.
Yeah, well, wow. Friday night, you were at Gigi's Lounge, a brand new place to play at. How did it go?
Oh, it was great. The sound was wonderful. It was just a lot of fun. And, one of the signature songs, Fiddle Keys, the title track off of the debut album, was one of the reasons they booked us. They were really excited to hear our, kind of like where Charlie Daniels meets Jerry Lee Lewis, kind of playing high-energy stuff. And but overall, we played a 3-hour nonstop show of country music, little originals, and some country music covers in there.
Wow. So, big show at Gigi's.
It was a lot of fun.
On Friday night. That's awesome. And then in July, you guys are in Santa Barbara, California the whole month. How did this happen?
Well, we've actually been going to Santa Barbara for about since 2017. And it's actually the same contact. Susan got in contact with a international booking agency, and she's been booked all over the world since before me. So she's been working with the entertainment agency, and
for about 13 years I've been going to the island of St. Martin, and then they opened up another venue in Santa Barbara, so we just kind of followed suit.
Nice, yeah, because the red pianos where you guys are playing in Santa Barbara, this looks kind of cool. I mean, the crowd is literally right on top of you guys.
Yeah, I love that too. I mean, it's like we're all in one big room having fun. We're jam-packed singing along, and just, I think piano bars to me are just magical. I think it's a great place. If you've got a piano bar near you, wherever you are in the world, definitely go check one out.
Yeah, you got to go check it out. I mean, and the red piano looks pretty sweet. And, well, you guys he wasn't there in Santa Barbara, but is Steven is he a permanent drummer, or is this just for certain gigs? What's happening?
Steven has been our main drummer. We do have 2 or 3 drummers that we can call upon, based on availability, because they have other projects as well. So, as a duo, married duo, we like to be able to be somewhat autonomous and run and gun as we need to, but we have definitely loved working with Stephen Bailey. He's learned all of our original music, and he's here in Little Rock, Arkansas, and he's our main go-to guy. And same with our bass player. We've got a bass player we use a lot, too.
Nice. So we almost have a full band, or have one sometimes, but...
We do, yeah. And, we have most of our shows are either duo or trio, but when we get the opportunity to do a full band show, we absolutely put together our 4-piece, and it really rounds it out, makes for a really fun show.
Yeah. Wait, Fiddle Keys, the album, you guys have had great success with this album. I mean, what have you felt it? What do you guys think about it?
I think just the overwhelming reaction from everybody has been the best thing for us. Everybody. I don't know anything negative that I've heard from anybody after listening. I think we've done a great job at capturing the energy of our shows in the album, and Fiddle Keys, A Song for Granddad, Better Than a Country Song. Those are kind of the top, I think, 3 that most people keep requesting, and so we're just overjoyed that the response that we've got from it.
Yeah, and I love if Charlie Daniels married a female Jerry Lee Lewis. That's perfect for you guys. Because Cliff, I think we asked you before, but what did you start with? Did you start with the fiddle or the guitar?
I actually started on drums when I was about 5 years old, but then about 10 years old, I took lessons on fiddle for about 3 years. So, and then I picked up guitar, and then I picked up more stuff. So,
wow, yeah, he's one talented guy. Well, and I saw this Better Than a Country Song. You wrote this song. You co-wrote it with somebody, but you recorded it under an old pseudonym, Rusty Conway. What's this about?
I'm not sure how this keeps coming up. All right, so yeah,
See, I told the world about it.
Okay, yeah, my one of my best friends, Bobby Cockerham. He's He's the guy that I co-wrote it with, and so I was probably about 18 or 19 when we wrote it back then, and yeah, I don't know. I had no idea what I was doing, and honestly, it's too long of a story to tell, but basically the Rusty Conway thing was a pseudonym that I gave myself when I was about 3 years old at daycare.
Oh, wow.
And my grandmother or my mother went to pick me up one day and tried to pick up Cliff Prowse, and it was nowhere to be found because they had been calling me Rusty Conway for the past 3 months because that's what I told them my name was. And so that's where that came from.
So Rusty Conway is no longer to be found on any streaming platforms, but I think it's a fun fact just for folks to know that before he met me, I call it BC, before Cliff, he had his own little pseudonym going on out there trying to get some music out.
That's hilarious. I guess you just didn't like Cliff as a kid.
No, it was an old name.
Yeah, there are not too many Cliffs out there.
Well, I think Susan is an old name, too. I think when people hear our names, Cliff and Susan, they probably think of, I don't know, an older demographic. But we definitely bring a youthful, high-energy show. So I encourage everybody to check us out online.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely high energy. Go and check them out. They're at Susan Irwin. It's ERWIN.com. They're on Facebook, X. Their latest single, Into the Mystic, is out now. They're on Instagram. They're everywhere. Go to Spotify. You can listen to Fiddles and Keys. Since I've been looking at you guys the last week, on my Facebook, on my Instagram, every second I get hit with this PartyStarterSetlist.com. Tell us what's going on here with this.
Well, I hope I'm not overwhelming you with it. We just started running some ads, and we're trying to dial those in so it's tastefully out there. But for sure, it's a list of songs that we put together, and it's not just a list. It's actually an interactive list with our recommendation on what to learn to get started to do a high-energy show that's for 4 hours nonstop. We have training resources as far as how to run the flow of your show. And it's really our bread and butter, being able to travel the world doing over 200 shows. A lot of those are cover songs, and we find it very synergistic to have a great high-energy cover show that you can. It's the fastest way to make money in the music business as a gigging artist, and then you have money to invest and build your fan base to then launch your solo or your original project. And it's just been a really great business, I guess, formula for us. So we've built something to share that with others.
Yeah, no, it sounds awesome. If you're getting into music, or like Susan said, playing covers and to do covers right and to have a good set list, PartyStarterSetlist.com. And what's with the Entertainers Academy that you guys have going on?
Well, that's the next level. I mean, as folks get into the Party Starters, if they like what they're learning there, then they can take the leap into a full-on academy where we teach 12 modules of all. It's a comprehensive look at how to have, we start with the show, because that is really the best way and the fastest way to start making money. But then building your business around that, it's everything from building your show, your equipment, to building a fan base online, your presence online, running ads, building, monetizing your fan base, then releasing your own songs, songwriting, building your home studio, all the way up to grant writing and sponsorships and all of it. So it's really everything we've learned in our career, and we're just teaching it in the academy.
Yeah, if you go check out their website, there's a link on there for Entertainers Academy, and you can go get it checked out. Who dazzles the audiences more? Because Cliff is one hell of a musician. He's a good-looking guy. But Susan, I imagine guys are just falling in love with you at every show because you're a very sexy woman, and what you do is amazing. Who gets the most response from the crowd?
I don't know. I think we're a good balance. I think where Cliff gets out, I'm stuck at my piano because my hands, if I leave the piano, unless I've got a full band, which I do front and run around some when I have a full band, but when it's the two of us, if my hands leave the piano, then half the band goes away. So Cliff runs around, he's got the fiddle, and he's out in the crowd and doing all of the showmanship there. I'm just a big personality. I'm playing with my feet and doing all kinds of stuff. Anything I can do to make a big presence happen around that keyboard is my forte. Whenever I was before I met Cliff, I definitely solo female artist. I think my demographic, I didn't know how it was going to shift when we got together as a duo. But what I will say is, I think a lot of couples really gravitate toward us. They enjoy the fact that we're married and we have such a great, chemistry on stage, and just a lot of fun. And I don't know, I think it's I think we check a lot more boxes together, you know, as a duo. And I would say most men don't hit on me as much anymore because, you know, Cliff's right there.
The intimidation factor is just off the chart.
That's hilarious. Well, and you're still producing artists, right, Cliff, with your big Red Dog Productions?
Yes, we are. So we don't produce that often just because we're super busy, and we are trying to produce our own music as of late. And so I do take on just a responsible amount of projects, and so I'm working on a couple albums right now, and about to start a new one with another friend of ours, and so we're constantly working with different artists, and I always like to keep my skills sharp on mixing and, you know, engineering other people's work as well. It just helps me in, you know, all of our music that we're creating as well.
He is working on a project called Freedom Sings Arkansas, and it's a veterans nonprofit organization where they pair veterans to tell their story from war with songwriters, and then Cliff is producing the music after they write the song. So it's a really cool project.
Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, go check out Cliff and Susan there at SusanIrwin.com. It's ERWIN. Go and follow them on social media. They're everywhere. Their latest single, Into the Mystic, is out now. I saw a new single is coming, Waiting on You, Waiting on Me. I think you recorded the album in Muscle Shoals. Did we do this in our home studio? Where did we record the new one?
So we actually did both of the ones that you just mentioned, Into the Mystic and Waiting on You. We actually went to Muscle Shoals at Fame Recording Studios in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. If y'all have not seen the documentary or you don't know about Muscle Shoals, you definitely got to check it out. It's an incredible history of music, and so we were fortunate to go record there. We actually tracked everything there, and we took it back to our studio and mixed. I mixed everything back at our home studio, but it was an incredible experience and a blast working with their current iteration of the Swampers, I guess you would say, and great musicians. And so we were fortunate to be able to record 2 songs while we were there in town. And so Waiting on You is going to be the next one coming out, kind of a little bit about our story, about just how neither of us were really looking for a relationship, but when we found each other, we knew it was the right one. So,
yeah, and what's crazy about you two is you're both from Arkansas.
Yeah, I know. She's a world traveler, and honestly, it's funny. I was about to really not play music anymore, and about to go into respiratory therapy or something. Do something in the medical field or something. So. She rescued me. I'm a rescue.
He rescued me in other ways too. I mean, yeah, it was really cool to find someone who, I'm very rooted in Arkansas and my family. I'm very close to family, and always this has been home base for me. So to have found a partner like Cliff in just in every possible way, and then be able to do what we love and now travel together, it's been a very huge blessing.
Because where were you guys living? Were you in the same town, or were you close before you met each other?
Cliff was living in North Little Rock, which is just basically the central Arkansas Little Rock area. I was living in Magnet Cove between Malvern and Hot Springs, Arkansas, so about an hour away. And I was mostly traveling internationally, but I would come home and land for about a month and pick up some shows. And when I was booked at the same venue he was booked at when we met. So that I had been home for a few weeks, and we met at this show.
Yeah, it's incredible. There is a video about how they met on their website, too. You can go check that out. The podcast, you did one with the Red Piano owners. I mean, we got more coming. What's happening with the podcast?
We started the podcast in during COVID, and we were doing, I think we've done 60-something episodes, but as things came back and we got busy, we only do a podcast once a month at best right now. We're doing, we've got another one coming up with a colleague who does some really cool work in the music industry. But yeah, the most recent one was sitting down with the owners of the Red Piano Bar, who have a very interesting and awesome story about how they launched their first venue on the island of St. Martin and then now in Santa Barbara, and just really talked about the magic of piano bars and what we love about them. And I think it's just a great great little podcast there for people to go check out.
Yeah. And, I mean, you guys have been very interactive on your social media. I mean, you guys are very active everywhere right now. What do you think has been working the best?
Well, I think if I'm speaking platform specific, I feel like our engagement and most of our following and the most eyeballs are organically seen on Facebook. Facebook has been really good for us, and but we're on Instagram, TikTok, we're even on LinkedIn and all of the other ones. But I would say probably Facebook, and we've built a private fan group on Facebook. So we've got our public Cliff and Susan page, but we've built about 6,500 folks have joined our Facebook group, and that's where we do monthly live stream shows. We do a live concert on there and do weekly giveaways. And so we've collected a lot of folks from all over the world in our private fan group. We encourage y'all to just go on Facebook and search Cliff and Susan Private Fan Group.
Huh. Yeah, I'm going to have to go check that out. Because, yeah, and then you guys are doing the live shows on the website.
Yep. Well, we do it in the fan group on Facebook. We do that there. We actually are doing one in September. Our next live show will be streamed publicly on our Cliff and Susan Facebook page. So if you just head over to Cliff and Susan on Facebook, you'll see all of our events and stuff there.
Yeah, and it's just Cliff and Susan, just Cliff A-N-D, Susan, not the and sign. Look up Cliff and Susan, you'll find them on Facebook. Well, that's sweet, because where do you normally do your live shows? Just from your home studio?
Yeah, no, they're always from our home studio, but where we choose to stream them is different this time. Normally, we just do it in our private group, but this time we're going to go public.
Oh, okay.
We did over 100 shows during COVID. When everybody was stuck at home, we ended up just streaming live pretty much every day, and built a lot of new friends and fans out there. In fact, when our national TV debut on the Huckabee Show came from Governor Huckabee watching our live streams unbeknownst to us. And when we released Fiddle Keys, he wanted to have us on. And so that's how that happened. So the power of social media is definitely out there. And so we're looking forward to doing a publicly stream, not just private in our fan group. This time it's going to be public. I forget the date right now. Let me look it up before we get done. I'll tell you. Okay.
Yeah, and you can go check them out. They're on Facebook. They got 44,000 followers on Facebook, over 30,000 on Instagram, and yeah, just go search Cliff and Susan. How are the three dogs doing?
Oh, they're doing great. They are just a bundle of joy. So we've got for those of you who don't know our dog situation, we have three little ones, and we've got a toy poodle named Charlie, which is actually Charlie Daniels, and then Booker, our Yorkie, and Gibby, we call him Gibby. His name is Gibson, and he's a Maltese. He's a rescue. So we've got three little dogs, and they keep us busy when we're home.
Yeah, what do they think when you guys are playing?
Well, they're missing us. We have cameras all over our house, and we check on them all the time like crazy people. But they're just at home waiting on us to get home all day when we're not. And, they're a lot of fun. A lot of people ask, do we have children? And, I don't know if God's going to bless us with children. We just kind of let that kind of be a wild card. But after 8 years, maybe not, So we're happy with our life. And we have a huge family, lots of kids in our family. So, in fact, I just took my niece to church yesterday, and then we went and had a piano lesson. And so we stay active in our nieces and nephews' lives the best we can. But we stay super busy. By the way, that show is our online Facebook virtual show will be Tuesday, August 27th, 7 p.m. Central. So I'd love to have y'all check that out. So wherever you are in the world, you can tune in on your device and watch us interact, request songs, and hear what we sound like.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. August 27th. So, yeah, circle that on your calendar. 7 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock Mountain Time.
Yep.
So don't miss Cliff and Susan. Tuesday, August 27th. I'll have to remember that. Well, man, I see your post yesterday. Yeah, in the past 10 days, you've welcomed 105 musicians from all over the world to the Party Starters community. It's working, Susan.
It is working. I will say I had a little, when you start doing anything new like this, a new business adventure, you're like, all right, so how is it going to be well received? I will tell you, we spent hundreds of hours over the last 2 years really trying to figure out how to best build our Entertainers Academy. And then Party Starter Setlist is just It's an affordable way to get a product, get some training, get in there, find the easiest and best songs to learn to start doing your own show as a cover artist. And we I didn't know what to expect. And yeah, we've had over 100 people join us, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and the UK, and the US. And it's just been really cool to see people are excited about it and learning and getting good reviews.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because how many songs are in your guys' repertoire? I mean, you probably thousands.
Yeah, we had over 2,000 on a spreadsheet, and those are, some of them are off the. Cliff is a genius when it comes to being able to remember songs, and he pretty much, if he remembers it, he can play it. He might need a little bit of lyrical help from a device. So I'd say off book we're about 1,000 songs where we can just from the top of our head with no device in front of us. But then with a tasteful use of a device, like an iPad or a low profile device in front of you where you can pull up the lyrics, which is what we teach in that Party Starter Setlist, you can cover so many songs. And tastefully done, then you're able to field any requests. So I'd say right now 2,000 songs is about right. Now, are we playing all 2,000? No, but we'll get an obscure request here and there, and we'll realize we know it, and we can pull it up and do it. So we have song lists in our venues that in certain venues when it's an all-request show and we've got request forms out in the tables, we've got about 1,000 songs out there for them to look through and pick from.
Wow, that's crazy. That's cool, though, to be able to do that, to do an all-request show when you're playing live. What's mostly requested, or what do people want to hear?
Oh, people are creatures of habit.
Oh, yeah.
And there's not a show that goes by that we don't play Tennessee whiskey, or, of course, Devin went down to Georgia. Just that's probably more, primarily us because of the fiddle. But, yeah, even Brown Eyed Girl or Sweet Caroline.
Yeah.
There's Don't Stop Believing. Those are always going to come up. And
no matter how many songs you put in front of them, you're going to have Sweet Caroline.
You got to play Sweet Caroline no matter what. Well, there's a cool video at the Red Piano. Who's the guy that came up and sang Don't Stop Believing? Did you know him, or was he just somebody in the crowd?
Well, he's actually the resident piano player. He plays the early show year-round. His name's Jason Libbs, and so I call him the Santa Barbara Piano Man because he's there year-round, and he does. And so every once in a while he'll get up with us on the late-night show and show off a little bit so he can let people know who he is, and we promote his show for, the full year-round, 365, he's there.
Huh. Well, that's cool. Yeah, you guys crushed it. So I was like, man, this guy can't just be somebody out in the crowd. But you never know. Into the Mystic, the latest single. How did we come to this?
We love that song. It is our favorite Van Morrison tune, and we were just vibing on it live when we play it, and we were like, man, this is something special. But then when we realized that we could record at Fame down in Muscle Shoals, we had the Waiting on You, Waiting on Me as our plan to do an original, and it wasn't too much to add a second song for that 12-hour. It was a full 12-hour recording day there. And we decided that we would just throw in I call it a strategic cover. A lot of artists will release a cover song that allows fans of that artist or that song to kind of then discover them and their version. So we felt it was kind of a good marketing move, and we just loved the song. And the fact that it was Muscle Shoals and all of that kind of music was recorded there over 60 years. There's so much great music in that vein. So we decided that was a good fit, and we've had a good reception from it. We love it.
Yeah, it's a great tune. You're going to hear it here in a minute. And then Waiting on You, Waiting on Me is coming out in September. Do we have a date?
September 13th. We decided yesterday, so you're the first to announce.
Awesome. September 13th, Waiting on You, Waiting on Me. And it's a song about you two.
It is. It's us saying, it's a little quirky tune. Musically, it's got a really fun, funky beat about it. It's just about, not realizing you're waiting on somebody, but you discover that God was just let you were waiting, and then you found each other unexpectedly. And it's another story about us. Lyrically, it's about us, and I think that's one of the reasons people like Fiddle Keys, not just from the standpoint of the musicianship and the high energy Charlie Daniels fiddle playing meets Jerry Lee Lewis keys, but lyrically on that song, Fiddle and Keys, we told our story. So here's another one coming at you that'll let people know lyrically more about us.
Yeah, and I think it's more. I think it's more relatable, especially than Fiddle and Keys. That's like very specifically our story. But I think there's a lot of couples out there that probably like stop looking for someone and then it just all of a sudden happens. So I think it'll be a little bit more relatable for people to hear, and it's a very catchy little tune.
Yeah, and go and check them out, SusanIrwin.com. You can check on their tour dates if you're in the Arkansas area. They're all over the place. Go and check them out. I can't believe how many piano bars are in Little Rock.
Well, there's just one now. There used to be two. So there are lots more venues that are more than just the piano bar that we play in. We're going into our 10th year residency, my 10th, Cliff's 8th. We play at Oaklawn Casino in beautiful Hot Springs, Arkansas. That's my home city. We have thoroughbred horse racing December through May every year, and we are the featured resident act inside the casino every Friday, Saturday of that. So definitely come on down if you need a reason to. Well, Arkansas is a great routing city. If you're coming through 40 or 30 from any direction, Arkansas Hot Springs is pretty much right there, and you could swing on through and see a show.
Huh. I got a buddy that just moved to Arkansas. I'll have to tell him about you guys. Go check you out. Yeah, because they're at the Oaklawn Casino. Yeah, like she said, every Friday and Saturday in December. Go and check out their dates. There's one cool thing. In 2025, you're playing at the 2025 Piano Ladies Conference in Nashville.
Yeah, well, I am the founder and now co-organizer of that conference. I started it in 2019 in Vegas, and that's on our calendar because I like to make sure everybody knows about it. Cliff and I may pick up a show as our duo, but I will be performing with the Piano Ladies group. We expect probably 60, 70 international singing female entertainers from all over the world coming together next year on our 5th annual conference. We just did Vegas again this past May. And, we're doing it in August of next year. Really excited. There's like 4 or 5 different piano bars in Nashville. We've not done one yet in Nashville. We did New Orleans and Chicago and Vegas. And so, yeah, that's coming up August 10th to the 14th. Folks can go to pianoladies.com, and if you are a singing female piano entertainer, come on, join us.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Go and check them out. Look up Cliff and Susan. They're everywhere, Facebook, X, Instagram, you name it. They're out there. And then, like you said, go check them out. Tuesday, August 27th, they're doing a concert live on their Facebook page, 7 o'clock Central, 6 o'clock our time. And then September 13th, the brand new single, Waiting on You, Waiting on Me, comes out. Well, Cliff and Susan, thanks so much for coming back on the show.
Thank you very much for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Here's End of the Mystic. It's Cliff and Susan. It's KIX 96.5.